sleeping today? Are you still in the office? Or you spent the whole day at home? Wherever you are, or you're on your way home in the car, on the bus, wherever you are, would you please spend the next 1 hour with us as we join you through the life of my guest this evening, who is Dr. Nwand David. He's an optometrist, an entrepreneur, a member science and medical advisory board, and so many other achievements and accomplishments. You're welcome to the program, Dr. David.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's my great pleasure to have you on the program this evening. We're going to talk a lot about, we're going to journey deep into your life. I hope you don't mind.
You are free to go.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. How's your day doing today?
We thank God.
Yes. So you are somebody who is living, I want to just dive in, with somebody who's living with albinism.
Yes.
Right. So I want to go to your childhood to see how how your childhood was and the journey so far, and how you were able to cope and overcome the challenges of living with albinism. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. So tell me about your childhood and
okay.
the effects of albinism on your childhood.
I am David from the family of Moses and Juliana Nwandu. We hail from Abagan in Njikoka local government area of Anambra State. I have 4 siblings, so we are 5, and I'm the only person living with albinism. I would say I knew myself in kindergarten wearing my glasses, which means my parents were enlightened enough to know that I had issues with my eyes and needed to see an eye doctor. So they actually took care of that. I give it to them till tomorrow. I'm very grateful that I had them as parents. And now I have a delicate skin. And at the time, of course, I didn't understand what was going on with me, because every other person will enter the sun and come out, no problem. But I'll enter the sun and come out and I'll be red. All inflammation. And then journey continued. I also have a very, very big challenge with my sight, because then I'll call it nystagmus, because I have studied optometry to know it's nystagmus. But
what is nystagmus, doctor?
Oscillatory eye movement.
Okay, the constant movement.
Yes.
Of
They will call it Anya clock. That is you'll be looking at somebody and your eye will not be in one place. It will be jerky eye movement. And people used to tease me for that. Are you seeing it? They'll say it in my dialect, in Afu. I'll be looking this way and they'll say.
And how did that make you feel at that time as a young child?
Well, the honest truth is, you don't want to be teased, especially when you know you have a particular condition. It makes you withdrawn. Then, if it is so much, you begin to suffer from inferiority complex. You don't want to come out in the open. You don't want to socialize with people, because you don't want people to begin to tease you and make it obvious to you that you have a condition.
Is either of your parents suffering from the same? Did they have the same condition?
No, there's nobody else in my family.
So just you.
Yes, and mine is unique because it occurs once in 4 filial generations.
Explain that to us.
Now, 4 generations, from great-grandparents to grandparents to parents and to children. So the last occurrence in my family was my paternal great-grandmother. They called her Cowrie because of her complexion, Egoayo. That was what they were attributing to her complexion. And she was really very, very light skin, like myself. So when I was born, they said that she has reincarnated.
But she was but that was a woman.
I've heard a lot of things about reincarnation. Some people say that you reincarnate and become an animal, you reincarnate and become whatever, but that's for people that believe in reincarnation. I don't.
So again, going back to your childhood, I still want to stay there, because we might have listeners who are listening and probably have children. So what kind of support did you get from your family because you were the only person, you were like, sticking out. You were the only person who had this condition. How were they able to give you the support to protect you from all this bullying and all that you were getting from outside?
You can never protect anybody from bullying because you will not be walking around walking around with the person. You will go to work, and we will go to school.
So how did you deal with the bullying yourself?
Well, first of all, I suffered from inferiority complex.
Because of the bullying?
Yes, because of the stigmatization,
So
not just the bullying. You have, for example, you will wear your glasses, and then because you're wearing glasses, they'll call you for eyes, and then you can't play football because you'll be looking for the ball while others are kicking the leg, and then they'll be teasing you. See the ball here? Can you kick the ball? They'll just kick it to you or even kick it at you because they know that before you finish seeing the ball, somebody else has already taken it, and they'll want to just dribble you just for the fun of.
And how did that make you feel as a young child?
I stopped going to the field, any field event. Till today, I am not a football fan because of it. I preferred to stay away when I know that I can be teased. And anytime I enter the sun, I come back with bonds. I started developing black spots. And you know that once you get burned, it's very painful. So even when you take a bath, it's painful until the inflammations come down and gradually disappear. And this will happen to you often. So you don't want to enter the sun. Maybe days that you want to be a tough person, you go and join them in match pass there in the WTC primary school. At the end of the day, you pay for it. Because others will be under the sun and they'll be matching, no problem. You'll be under the sun with them. After matching, you come back to suffer the consequences of being under the sun.
But did the school recognize this and give you some special,
Then there was no advocacy. People don't even know what it was. They don't even know that they should give persons with albinism the front seat. That is, if it's possible to sit in the front of the board. Yes. They feel that if you're not doing well, it's because you are lazy or you don't want to. So if you can't copy what is on the board, they'll come from the perspective of why are you wasting everybody's time? Why are you not paying attention? Why are you not copying your notes? Because ignorance was at its peak. It was later on in life when we now understood what the problem was that we now started advocating even an hour and a half. If every other person is writing an exam, persons with albinism should be given extra 30 minutes.
At least.
Because they are not moving at your pace. They need to comprehend first before they are able to answer the questions. And with your vision, if you cannot see clearly, comprehension will be very slow.
You've come with some soundtracks to your life. The first one is Incommunicable Attributes by yourself.
Of course, and the artist.
Incommunicable Attributes of God. I'll play that now.
Okay.
Before the start,
Wow, very interesting.
before the dawn of life,
Who is singing that?
you stood alone in self-existent light.
Is that you?
No
Is that
origin,
you?
No, that's not my voice.
source to
Okay.
give
The
you
lyrics are mine.
Okay, it is written by you.
Yes.
Okay, but not sung by you.
No. I'm not going to be performing.
No, I just want to try.
Yeah.
You never change. Your word is ever sure. Through shifting sands, your purposes endure. All powerful, your hand has made the sky.
That's the attributes of God. You are the writer of the lyrics.
Yeah.
So why is that? Why did you write that? What was the inspiration for writing that?
First of all, sitting in the presence of God is one of the things I crave for. It's the moment where I function most because inspiration comes, you study the Word of God, you spend time, quality time in prayer, you get inspirations. And This song was written like 5 or 6 months ago, or even less, because I started this community Bible study reading with a group of people. It's called Spiritual Growth Steps Ministry. And then they also have a prayer drill. So during the 21 days of the prayer drill, you have an assignment for each day, and you spend 1 hour at least in the presence of God.
And that was inspiration.
So within that period of time, as I was spending time trying to ruminate over a lot of things, I also tried to put down a lot of things when that is going on. And while I was doing that, I began to receive these inspiration. So I tried to also write it down, because you have to have something that you did for the day. So when the songs came, I quickly scribbled them down, and then Suno is a music app. I put it on the app, and then began to generate my own tracks.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You're listening to Journey Through Life with me, your host, Sisi Bunmi, and my guest this evening is Dr. David Wadu.
Thank you.
And if you want to send a text message, you can, or SMS or WhatsApp message, you can do so on 070 679 73508. I'll repeat that number, 070 679 73508. Now, so with all the bullying, you were not discouraged. You went ahead, went to university. You didn't get frustrated with studies because of the eyesight and the bullying. What was the motivation? What was it that was driving you to achieve such heights in your education?
Well, one thing is very certain. Let's say when the desirable is not available, then the available becomes the desirable, right? I grew up in an environment where, I mean, we don't even have to come downstairs, talk less about playing with the neighbors. Because as far back as then, the crime rate of street boys were also very high. You don't want your children to associate with the street boys because they are going to pick up some vices. I was, in quote, the obedient one, because I don't like going outside. And now there are rules not to even go outside. So that also kept me inside.
Studying.
Not necessarily studying, but doing things that you can see around you. So I prefer to interact with my immediate environment than socializing with people. So I was very, very withdrawn. I was an introvert.
So now I'm saying that. So you now went on to university. Of course, you went to university despite the disability. Can I call it disability? The eyesight.
It's a condition, because the reason why I'm living with albinism is lack of melanin. By the time I began to study to understand, because curiosity will begin to drive you. Why are you a different complexion from others? Why do you experience this? A lot of why.
Is this what drove you to study to become an optometrist? Is this
Well,
the reason?
eventually I discovered that was the reason.
You were seeking answers for your condition.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. All through secondary school, I would not just sit in front of the class. I will sit very close to the board,
so that you can see.
so I can read what is on the board. Or I will have to depend on my neighbor's notebook in order to take the notes that were taken in class. And from kindergarten, I've been going to see the eye doctor. I'll break my glasses, because we started from the glass lenses. Once the frame falls, it will break. We go back and get another one, until, because of photophobia, that is, the intensity of the light is so much that when you come outside, you can't even open your eyes. So they got me photochrome lenses, glass photochrome lenses, as far back as then. And when I come out under the sun, at least to give me a shade, even though the vision is not so clear, but I can open my eye under the shade, and it turns dark under the sun. So I started beginning to open my eye. And then from that time till date, I discovered that if I was wearing my glasses consistently, the nystagmus began to reduce gradually.
That's the movement of the eye.
The jerky eye movement, yes. it's drastically reduced. And from then till now, I can conclude that living with albinism, even though your prescription is not so wonderful, after correction, it is still important that you use it, no matter the little difference in the correction. It gives you comfort, little comfort. And the next examination you will go to, the prescription you'll be given will also give you little comfort. So little comfort over a period of time, you discover that that null movement you want to achieve, which is why you're straining and the eye is dancing, will become an easier achievement, because you consistently kept relaxing your eye to look at things until over time it fizzled out or it became very insignificant. If I'm stressed and try to concentrate on something and you look at my eye, you might still notice the jerky eye movement, but it's no longer as significant as it used to be. Yes. So I concluded that wearing your corrective lenses will reduce nystagmus significantly.
So like I was asking, is that why you became
Optometrist.
optometrist because of your condition, looking for a solution?
Yeah. So by the time I now began to study, it was in third year optometry that I really started studying optometry, because the anatomy.
What's the difference between all those areas? We have
Okay.
opticians.
The optician cuts lenses into frames.
Okay.
The optometrist will go through the normal investigating processes, will diagnose you, but will not do any surgery on you. The ophthalmologist will diagnose you as well, but can operate on you. But it's a team. You manage the eye as a team. Then at the end of the day, after surgeries, the optometrist can also continue
So
to.
do you do the surgeries?
No, I don't do surgery.
Okay. So what?
Yeah, but we manage the cases, we do investigations, we come to the diagnosis, and then we manage the diagnosis if it's not resulting to surgery immediately. With topical drugs, and then you also advise the patient if the disease condition requires surgeries and all that, looking at the investigation. Yeah.
So now I spoke about when you were a child and the bullying and all that. Did you experience that even as an adult from fellow adults? Was there any issue of bullying, people trying to treat you differently because of the way you looked as an adult, maybe in university or something? Did that happen?
Yeah, it does not go away. It's how you manage it.
And
that matters.
how do you manage it?
First of all, you have to make yourself understand that you are. I always tell people I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. That is number one. If you don't talk to yourself, nobody will talk for you. And if you don't define yourself, everybody's definition will become your definition about yourself. So I had to at some point define myself. I told myself, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You don't have any deformity. When you begin to accept it, then whatever you are doing, you're not doing it from the place of sympathy. You are doing it from the place of opportunity, and you don't expect anybody's sympathy. You expect empathy, yes, because every person living with albinism will have the chance of maybe 50-50 of skin cancer. But whatever you make out of it is entirely how you try to structure your life. Some people are not aware that ignorance is what will keep them under the sun, and without the knowledge of the damages of the sun on a person living with albinism, they come down with skin cancer. So the quest for knowledge now became my driving force. And the more knowledge I acquired, the more I came to accept my condition and then try to make the best out of it.
Interesting.
So by the time I now discovered that my vision is the issue, I had to begin to look for the best eye solution. That's look for the best kind of lenses to give you maximum comfort in your vision, and also to protect your eye against several of the rays that are damaging. So that knowledge, I acquired it because I studied optometry. And I now try to apply it to myself. So even when I'm seeing patients, I see patients from the empathetic perspective. So I'm ready to spend time with every single patient, because I know that to see me as a patient, you need to give me some time, and you need to be patient with him in order to respond to you, and eventually we will achieve our goal. So it made me, every time I'm seeing a patient, it takes me quite a while to satisfy a patient, and when you are leaving, you will be really satisfied.
Now, you're now utilizing an advanced nanotechnology. What tell us about that for you? Because I mean, even though you sound all the things you've been saying, this is radio, people cannot see you. But I must say, you do not look. To me, you do not look like.
The person living without
Yes,
vision,
your skin
yeah.
is clear.
Yeah.
I might even say you're a handsome man.
Thank you
So you
for the
don't.
compliment.
Yeah, you don't look. So tell me, is this because of the, the treatment, the nano? What is nanotechnology first of all?
Okay, let me use a typical example of um, shrinking. If you shrink something so that you can only see it through the eye of the microscope, you are reducing the size of something. Now, when you talk about nano in the sciences, you talk about 90, 1/190, that's nano. And before you can see something like that in the microscope, you must use a microscope that will keep reducing and reducing and reducing things to that size. It's not something the eye can see, so it will sound abstract. But think about something that can easily pass through the eye of a needle, and you can have more than 7 million molecules of that thing just easily passing through the eye of the needle.
So was that the protocol that helped your condition?
Now that's nanotechnology.
Okay.
And the goal of nanotechnology is to deliver things to the cells through the blood vessels. And the major challenge in the pharmaceutical industry is absorption. So if you are able to drive anything into the cells without the process consuming energy, it's easy for you to send things into the cells. For example, when you talk about lipids are proteins. Some people try to reduce the molecules of several ingredients using liposomes to wrap them, but they are still very big. They can't pass through the pores of the blood vessel. They can't go through the blood-brain barrier. And then by, let's say, metric terms, the size of the blood-brain barrier is about 10 nanometers.
I'm getting very technical now.
So I understand.
So what I want
So
so this protocol that you obviously, because you were saying earlier that you used to have spots on your skin and all that.
yeah,
You don't anymore.
over time, for example, for the past 5 going to 6 years now, 5 years, 2021 December, that I came in contact with this company called Mini. Okay. They have this technology they call the HydraStat nanotechnology. HydraStat, Hydra is water. And being able to use the water molecule as an envelope to encapsulate the ingredients of this. And then they had to subject the water to a purification level of 74.7. Yes. And because it's a water envelope, it has to be in a water form. So it's either you're gargling it in the mouth or swishing it. You're swishing in the mouth. That is, you keep it in the mouth and you gargle it right, left, right through the mouth, so that absorption goes on through two major blood vessels under your tongue, and then through the linings of the mouth. It gets into the bloodstream in 30 seconds. And then it's circulated by the heart, pumping blood to all the cells in the body in another 30 seconds. So this happens in 70 seconds.
So how has that changed, your life? How has that?
Yeah, the major ingredient for that particular supplement is glutathione.
Okay.
So being able to reduce glutathione to 3 nanometers, which is the water molecule size, it's easy to pass through the blood-brain barrier, which is about 10 nanometers. And that's 100% absorption of the ingredients in that particular supplement.
And it has helped the skin
amazingly well.
So have you now tried to, because I know there are non-governmental organizations for the albino. Yes. So have you educated them on this particular technology?
Now, when you are profiling a solution, you profile a solution and you solve the problem. When you talk about problems, which is what we do all the time, without preparing solutions, you discover that you've just ended up spending time to talk about it, but you've not actually done anything to solve it. So if I go to those organizations and I know that what we'll be talking about is talking about stigmatization and talking about the cancers and talking about this without keeping the bottles there and telling them, oh yeah, take this and begin to use it, it's going to help you. You've not actually solved the problem. So the actual people I should be going to are people who have empathy for these persons living with albinism to provide these supplements. Then you can now gather these people and give them supplements.
Is it affordable?
Well, for now, it's not affordable. Well, what you mean by affordable means, I mean, depending on your financial power, because it's let's say roughly around the 130,000 naira bottle retail in the shops.
Because I'm
So
saying
and
that
you have to
because-
use that every month.
Because I'm saying that because I'm looking at you and you don't look to me like somebody who has, because I know how albinos look, so I don't know, this seems to have really worked well for you.
Yes. Apart from the fact that it worked on my skin, what glutathione does is that it protects your cells against oxidative stress. Generally. And oxidative stress is like slicing an apple and leaving it here. In the next 1 minute, it will denature, it will change color. And that color change is the death of each cell that is exposed. Yes. So it now makes me, who has been on glutathione, not to be exposed to oxidative stress, even when I'm under the sun. Because what glutathione does is that it cocoons the cells when the free radicals and the heavy metals in the air want to take electrons from your cells. It's glutathione that will donate electrons and recycle itself indefinitely.
And it helps your condition.
If your cells are not undergoing oxidative stress, they'll be born healthy, they will stay healthy, and they will die healthy.
Fantastic.
And then if there are cellular inflammations, glutathione is an anti-inflammatory. It will take out cellular inflammations as well. So it doesn't go down that degenerative process. When you go through oxidative stress, the next thing is cellular inflammation. If not taken care of, you go into mitochondrial dysfunction. All the cells, the powerhouse of all the cells will begin to malfunction. And from there, you talk about root cells. That's where we talk about cancerous cells. But if you halt it at the point that you still have cellular inflammation, it will not go down that path.
It's also technical.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
Yes.
Let me play the next soundtrack to your life. Self-existence
Of God.
of God.
Yes.
The
These are all the
self-
attributes of God.
Self-existence of God. I'll play that for you. When we come back, we're going to go back.
In every place, your presence is complete. The universe is resting at your feet. Beyond the reach of minutes, years, and days, you dwell outside our finite human ways. An endless God who has no start or end, on whom the pen
Self-existence of
Yeah.
God. You're also the writer. You wrote the lyrics as well.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Why is that important to you?
God is infinite. In fact, we are finite beings. We can never understand an infinite God because in himself, he is who he is. He said, I am that I am. So if you're trying to understand that, you need to become an infinite being before you can understand that. So God is all-knowing. God is sovereign. He's the Almighty. And we are just like scripts. We are acting out the scripts that he wrote. So, irrespective of who we are, he does not change. As
Constant.
Yes. And he's from eternity to eternity. He has no beginning, he has no end. These are all the attributes of God.
Can I ask you, did you ever ask God sometimes, why me? Maybe some times when you were down during, that period. Why me? Of all the five siblings, why me? God, did you get angry at any point?
Well, I wouldn't say I asked God why me, because I know that growing up in a Christian environment, I have always been taught that Christianity is not a bed of roses. There will be challenges, there will be storms, there will be scourging sun, Say the sun will not smite you by day, nor the moon by night, which means that the sun can smite you by day. So going through challenges, making process, because the goal, or let me say, the destiny of every human being is to become like God. Whether you are a child at that stage, or whether you are pursuing anything in life as you're growing, people set a lot of targets for themselves. But at the end of the day, when they are done with life, in their 70s or in their 80s, and they look back, there's still one thing that is a constant. How much of God have I become? Because money will slip through your hands, you will get money, you will do things, but how did you eventually become like God? Because that is your destiny.
That's interesting. That's very
Because
interesting.
you're heading to eternity, and the prerequisite of eternity is here on earth. How you are able to become like Him will give you access into
Into the kingdom.
Yes.
So now, because obviously you're a man, you're married now. So I want to know, how did you negotiate the dating scene as somebody living with albino? How did you negotiate it? How were the ladies? Did you have the confidence to approach them, or were you, shy, embarrassed, or
Well,
you
I
were
would
fear? Yeah, tell us about that.
well, I would say that because it drove me close to God, I depended more on His instructions taken to make a move. And one thing I can tell you is that God has a plan for you all the way, if only you understand how to walk with Him. He will give you several instructions, the same way you get other instructions to do other things. When it comes to marriage, He will give you a signal. There are things that when they happen to you and you are seeing the green light, it tells you that this is actually a sign to prove that this is what God wants to do. Now we grew up as children in the Sunday school. But of course, there was nothing like that in my mind.
Okay, you and your wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was when I was in school, of course, the alone with God was always very constant. You spend time. I love to worship. That is part of the reason why whenever I'm in His presence, inspiration comes. I
Right.
try to write, because if you don't write it, then you lose it. When you wake up, you might forget, or when you're out from there, you might forget. So you try to write. And in several of such inspirations, you will have ask yourself some questions. I started praying for my life partner at 23.
Before then, you had never dated.
No.
Really?
The person I am marrying is I would say the very first person that I would say I dated, because the day I approached her to tell her I'm interested in her, she quickly shut me out. She said it's not going to happen, it's not possible.
Did she tell you why?
I know that my skin color was part of it, but consistency.
You didn't give up.
After 7 years.
What?
Yes.
You were after her for 7 years.
Yes. From 23 till 30.
She finally said,
As she kept saying no, I just told myself I wouldn't bother talking to another person until I see you get married. That's when I know that God has told me a lie on this one.
Okay, because you believe that God
led
you to her. And she said no for 7 years.
Yeah.
Then finally.
But that does not mean that you will not have storms in the way. Because if you think that when God tells you that this is your life partner, then it's going to be a bed of roses. No. It's not going to be a bed of roses. But the resilience, the endurance, will also make you go through the storm.
Let me open the phone lines. If you want to join this conversation, you can call me on 081 084 47518. If you have a comment or a question for my guest, 081 084 47518. You're listening to Johnny Zero Live with me, your host, Sisi Bunmi, and my amazing guest this evening is Dr. David Wadu. It's a real pleasure, to speak with you, with your story and so much confidence and so much faith in God. It's quite an inspiration, I must say.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Yes. So can you tell us your wife's name? Let's know your wife.
Okay, her name is Dr. Ingrid.
Oh, she's also a medical doctor.
An optometrist.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did you follow her into the school? Did you follow her? Say, okay, I will follow you to go and reach this thing so that you must say yes to me.
She followed me. She's 4 years my junior.
Yeah, okay. We have a
school.
caller. We have a caller. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name?
Yeah,
and
my
where...
name is Mr. Carl.
Okay, you're welcome. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kugoma.
Okay, go ahead. Do you have a comment or a question?
Attentively to your discussion with Dr. David. Very interesting and enlightening. However, I think I have some small corrections to make. Are you listening?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, you said he said persons with albino. I think it's not like that. It's person with albinism. So I think that should be corrected. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But I think it's, I'm not sure.
I've been saying person with albinism.
Recollections differ. Recollections differ. So
Yes,
perhaps that was what you heard. Okay, thank you for that call anyway. So going back to your 7-year, you were pursuing somebody for 7 years. I think that must be like a record. And she kept on saying no, until finally she was like, you know what? Okay, let's go. And how has it been? Are you glad that you were persistent? And
yes, because it molded a lot of areas of my life. I don't give up on anything. I don't. No matter how hard that is. My journey with New Me is actually a testament, because you are in a business and the breakthrough does not come as fast as you expect it. A lot of people will chicken out
and give up
or
chase other.
Yeah.
It didn't even occur to you to try and explore alternative.
No, I'm an optometrist by profession, but I know that my solution to patients is limited. You can only come to me for the issue of your eyes, but there are other issues that you have that you also are looking for solutions. So when I discovered that to solve some issues for people with respect to their eyes, but I'm not satisfied, because personally I am also a patient, and I also have that curiosity to discover more things that will be solutions to my own life.
No, what I actually meant was that in the 7 years that you were pursuing your wife, it never occurred to you that, maybe I should explore other ladies, since she's saying no. You were just fixated on her, but it had to be her.
Well, my spiritual life and my journey with God, I've done a lot of things that required obedience. In fact, when I don't respond in obedience to several things, I tend to regret it, because you are going to run around a vicious circle, you have delays and all that, until you come back and obey.
Not everybody can, but you were obeying. She was one that was saying no. You were obeying the instruction from God.
So if it's from God, that means that she will get married now, and you cannot ask her to divorce.
So you'll
be patient. And if it eventually happens, then you know that God can never be wrong.
So do you think she's happy she's finally said yes to you?
Well, yes, but of course you know that there are storms also. How you handle storms also matters.
Do you tease her sometimes about the long wait?
Well, yes. Well, that's a story for another day.
Yes.
But you know that it's not going to be an easy journey, because you also have friends who from time to time tell you, what is it that you didn't solve in this person and all that. Discouragement. But your problem will be when you begin to listen to people instead of listening to God. In a union, is a tripod. It's God at the helm, and then both of you.
We have another caller. Good
Okay.
evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, good evening, Sisi Bunmi. My
Good-
name is Sharon. I'm calling from Gariki.
Welcome. Do you have a comment or a question to my guest?
Yeah, honestly, hi, Dr. David. Just wanted to say, your story is very inspiring. I've been listening attentively,
Thank
and
you.
I love the confidence with which you speak. I've learned a lot, even as a worshiper myself. I think I'm just really encouraged to stay in the Word, to get inspiration, and write immediately. Like sometimes I'll wake up from a dream and there will be a tune in my head, and so because I have to rush to get ready for work, I don't take that time to like quickly put it down. So I think what I need to do now is just to always take that 1 minute to, put down whatever it is that the Holy Spirit has inspired me or inspired of me or whatever. You get what I'm trying to say?
I do.
But yeah, I think your story is so inspiring, and well done. So, do any of your kids? Do you have kids?
Yeah, I have
Do
3 daughters.
any of them? Oh
They are,
wow. Do any of them
none has
have
my color.
albinism?
No, no,
Are any
no.
of them
But they are carriers.
albinism?
They are
Okay,
carriers.
that's
So if they
good.
meet persons with people who are carriers too, but that's
That's interesting.
it's very
That's
possible
interesting.
they can become.
That was my next. Thank you for that call, by the way. That was my next question to you. I wanted to know that. I wanted to know whether it was a concern for your wife that perhaps she was scared that you're going to have children, with abysm.
If there is a trace, you would know, because in the previous generation, you might see the traits there. A carrier can have a normal skin, but when a carrier meets a carrier, both of you can give birth to a person living with
So
albinism.
when it's interesting you are saying carrier because I mean
That's albinism gene.
Really, that's interesting. So can it be identified now?
No, you know how many
So how do you now know
tests
that the
you
person is a carrier?
you don't know. It's in the hands of God.
When it happens, that you now know that that person was a carrier.
Carrier
So
too, or maybe there's
your
a
parents,
history.
they were both carriers.
They were both carriers
I
because
see.
they were all dark skinned.
I see.
Yes, none of them have even light skin. Talk less of.
And then you just popped up, Oyibo.
And
But they
that
call
is
it, they
it.
used to call it Oyibo.
Now Igbo pepper.
If
Of
you eat
again, I
pepper.
now I can laugh about it, but then these were the teasing songs that if you're walking along the street, children, even at this age, you see small children that are not enlightened, they'll be singing for you.
But now you don't look like an albino. You just look like a light-skinned person to
You
me.
have to be intentional about
Yes,
your
it's
health.
just that yes, because you don't. Honestly, you don't. Mine. I mean, I know, but I guess it's a spectrum, isn't it? Albino isn't it a spectrum where you have
It's deficiency of melanin.
yes,
Different, let me say, different levels of
yes.
deficiency. What quantity of melanin do you have? That is what
Because
it's all about.
you have some melanin, don't you?
No, when you are taking care of yourself intentionally,
So it starts.
you begin to give yourself several things that you need to keep your cells at its optimum. Improving your quality of life. You hear people talk about quality of life, quality of life, quality of life. What is quality of life?
So you have to also have a particular diet to help you maintain your skin as it is.
It's not even about your diet, it's about your discipline. Because if you can afford everything, you will crave for everything. But if you tell yourself what you need to take, personally, are specific supplements that give me what I need. Because I am now adventurous. Majority of persons in the medical field are conservative. Acquired knowledge, the knowledge you were given in school, you come out, you try to practice it, you don't accept new ones.
Research.
You have to, first of all, go through rigorous processes before you add new knowledge. But being in that condition made me more adventurous. I go all out to try to find things that will give me a better quality of life.
I asked about the diet because I used to hear in those days that if you have if an albino,
If you are living with
you
albinism,
should not eat salt.
that's rubbish. It's not true.
I've heard that a lot.
It's a myth.
You should avoid salt. So
It's part of the myth, even when they say that persons living with albinism, they have magical powers and all that. They are all myths. If I want to eat salt, I will eat salt. It has nothing to do with my melanin. It's already a deficiency and there's nothing you can do about it. But if you protect yourself, that they don't go through oxidative stress, you have a very wonderful skin. Because what causes all those degenerative changes you see on their skin, they are all as a result of environmental factors.
But albinism is not an environmental factor. It's
No,
a
I mean,
genetic
it's a genetic disorder that exposes you, or a genetic condition that
to
exposes
the
you.
vulnerabilities of
Yes,
the environment.
the environment,
I see,
yes.
I see. But
So
because
if you
we
protect
have
yourself from the environment.
So, but are we now protected? Because we have melanin, we are protected. Is that what you're saying?
No, you have melanin. Your level of protection is very high compared to the level of protection of a person even with albinism. But even now, you heard about the ozone layer depletion. And what we have in the atmosphere is not just oxygen or carbon dioxide. We also have other heavy metals and free radicals in the air. And that is why you have heard about a lot of other kinds of cancers that you've never heard before. Because the rate at which oxidative stress is destroying the cells exponentially increased. So even you, by the ozone layer depletion, by the highly processed food that we eat, by even the chemicals that are used in preparing our food items and all that, they are all carcinogenic. So they put you on the pedestal of deterioration of the cells, from cellular inflammations to mitochondrial dysfunction to growth cells. So you get down there so fast. You start significantly losing glutathione at the age of 18. And it is not replaced because the gut, the stomach, is acidic. There are 3 amino acids that make up glutathione: glycine, glutamic acid, and L-cysteine. L-cysteine is denatured in the stomach, and that is why you don't ever get to make the glutathione as you used to do. And when that is happening, your glutathione level is nosediving. But the oxidative stress is not coming down, it is increasing. So the more it is increasing and your glutathione level keeps going down, your cells are now vulnerable, whether you're living with albinism or not.
That's interesting.
Yes. So as long as
So what about what advice do you then have for some of our comrades, some of our people that bleach their skin?
that's suicide mission. Because eventually anything you do to your skin with chemicals will eventually denature the cell over time. That's why when you stop bleaching, your skin melanin is haywire. You see different patches of colors all over. You distorted the production of melanin on the face by yourself.
With your own money.
With your own money. So instead of with your own money trying to do that, personally, now that I know what I know,
protect yourself.
I will advise you to begin to use the nano-sized glutathione, because it will still give you the same result you're looking for. It will tone your skin, bring out the best tone of your skin, but not make you fair.
You're listening to Journey Through Life with me, your host, Sisi Bunmi, and my guest this evening is Dr. David Nadu. And if you want to join this conversation, 08108447518. So you get just to have a picture of your family. Is your wife dark-skinned or fair?
Very dark.
And your children are
just lighter than her, but they're also in the dark.
Really? So you are the only Oyibo?
Yes. I'm the only Oyibo.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So because they are carriers now, if they marry
carriers,
they can also
have offspring that are living.
But now you come to terms, and then obviously you have the confidence. Your confidence is off the charts.
Yeah. Because I am now the solution to those things I considered my condition.
We'll take this caller very quickly. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, sorry, this is Cheryl again from Gariki.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, Doctor, you sound like a dark skin, like your vibe is giving dark skin.
No, he's not dark.
Handsome.
He's handsome. Yes, he's handsome. And the skin is very, very, very smooth, And it's been such a pleasure having you on this program. Do you want to share your social media handle in case you want to, go further with you with this, Do you want to share your social media handle?
I have a social media
handle. Okay, you don't know it. Okay. So maybe if you send us a text, we will share his social media handle with you.
Well, once you just type in David Nadu, you are going to see yes, on Facebook, on Instagram.
Okay, okay. So that they can follow up with you. Maybe So let's say there's some people listening to us and they have somebody in their family with this condition, what's your advice to them?
First of all, you have to be curious, you have to be adventurous. You can't easily try what you've not tried before if you don't make up your mind that you are looking for a better solution.
And how do they deal with bullying? How do you advise them to deal with bullying? Because there's still some very, very ignorant people out there.
Self-confidence. Try and build your own self-confidence. Nobody will do it for you. You speak to yourself. Any day you stand on the mirror, write out very good things, very good potentials, and decree to yourself. Tell yourself, I'm confident. I am an overcomer.
Especially made.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, say good things to yourself. It's called self-love.
And then wait, even if it takes 7-8 years for that woman to say yes, just wait. She will eventually say yes.
It is done to you according to the measure of your faith. Because if I did not have as much faith, I would have dropped on the way. So it has to do with your personal relationship with God. Not just calling yourself a Christian. You have to develop a personal relationship with God. Very, very important. It's not just with marriage. It's with every single aspect of your life. But when it comes to that, you cannot doubt what you are hearing, because you know that that is how he has also spoken to you about other things. But that doesn't mean that you're going to have things rosy. No, you will not have things rosy. But the confidence to go through it, the perseverance to go through it, will come from the fact that you have persevered in several other things.
And you came through.
And you came through.
It's been such a wonderful time.
In fact, you have worse storms. But are you able to go through the storm and not wreck the ship?
It's been such a privilege having you on this program. And I hope you will come back again. Have you enjoyed your time with us?
Amazing.
Yes?
Amazing.
Will you come back next time we will
Why
invite
not?
you?
Why not?
It's been so interesting. And Radio Maria is not a commercial radio. We rely on our listeners to support us so that we can keep bringing these interesting programs to you, these interesting personalities and guests to you. So we ask for your support. And if you want to support Radio Maria to continue to bring this quality of programs to you, you can support us by contributing treasure, money to us. Our account is Radio Maria Development Initiative of Nigeria, and the account number is 101-755-6755. I'll repeat that, 101-755-6755. And the account is held with Zenith Bank. The name of the account is Radio Maria Development Initiative of Nigeria. I'm just going to ask you one final question. Beer or champagne?
I don't take anyone.
No alcohol,
water.
so just water.
Yes.
Just water. Swallow or rice?
Swallow.
Swallow.
Anytime.
And then you wash it down with water.
Yes, water, and then I'll go for smoothies. I prefer
fruit smoothies.
Yes.
So what's that luxury item that you cannot do without? That item that you cannot do without in your life?
Oh my God, there's nothing I cannot do without.
Except God.
If God says do without it, I'll prefer to go with God.
Fantastic. I wish you many, many more years of good health, achievements, and confidence. I mean, that confidence, you can even package it in a bottle and sell. I will buy. Believe me, I really like that. I really enjoyed my time spent with you. I hope that you will be my guest again sometime soon. You've been listening to Journey Through Life with me, your host, Sisi Bunmi. I'm going to come again next Monday. I'll be coming your way, same time, with another very interesting guest. I thank you very much for listening, and until I come your way again, stay blessed and do not change that Radio Maria 91.3 FM. We have everything you need. Final word.
Okay. I'll say keep looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of your faith, until we come to the unity of faith, to the total man, to the fullness of the stature of Christ. That's our destiny. That's what we're doing.
Thank you. Good evening, Abuja.